Please subscribe to my YouTube channel for more lovely content. The Biafra War was officially between the southeastern part and the rest of Nigeria, the secessionist state in West Africa, Nigeria, that separated from Nigeria and existed from May 1967 to January 1970 was led by Chukwuemeka Ojukwu. Its territory consisted of the predominantly Igbo-populated former eastern region of Nigeria, which is now divided into the present-day south-south and southeastern regions of Nigeria. Biafra was formed by Igbo nationalists in response to a series of ethnic tensions shortly after Nigerian independence in 1960 that culminated in the 1966 massacres of Igbo people and other southeastern ethnic groups living in northern Nigeria. The military of Nigeria proceeded to attack Biafra shortly after it declared independence in 1967, resulting in the start of the Nigerian Civil War. Biafra was formally recognized by Gabon, Haiti, Ivory Coast, Tanzania, and Zambia. Other nations, which did not give official recognition, but provided support and assistance to Biafra, included France, Spain, Portugal, Norway, Rhodesia, South Africa, and Vatican City. Biafra received aid from non-state actors including Joint Church Aid, Foreign Mercenaries, Holy Ghost Fathers of Ireland, and under their direction Caritas International, and U.S. Catholic Relief Services. Medicine Sans Frontieres also originated in response to the suffering. After 2.5 years of war, during which almost 2 million Biafran civilians, 3/4 of them small children, died from starvation caused by the total blockade of the region by the Nigerian government, Biafran forces under Nigeria's motto of no victor, no vanquished surrendered to the Nigerian Federal Military Government, FMG. The surrender was facilitated by the Biafran Vice President and Chief of General Staff, Major General Philip Effiong, who assumed leadership of the Republic of Biafra after the original president, Colonel Chukwuemeka Ojukwu, fled to Ivory Coast. After the surrender of Biafra, some Igbos who had fled the conflict returned to their properties, but were unable to claim them back from new occupants. This became law in the Abandoned Properties Act, September 28, 1979. It was purported that at the start of the Civil War, Igbos withdrew their funds from Nigerian banks and converted it to the Biafran currency. After the war, bank accounts owned by Biafrans were seized, and a Nigerian panel resolved to give every Igbo person an account with only £20. Federal projects in Biafra were also greatly reduced compared to other parts of Nigeria. In an inter-society study, it was found that Nigerian security forces also extorted approximately $100 million per year from illegal roadblocks and other methods from Igboland, a cultural sub-region of Biafra in what is now southern Nigeria, causing greater mistrust of the Igbo citizenry towards the Nigerian security forces. The Republic of Biafra comprised over 29,848 square miles, 77,310 square kilometers of land, with terrestrial borders shared with Nigeria to the north and west, and with Cameroon to the east. Its coast was on the Gulf of Guinea of the South Atlantic Ocean in the south. The country's northeast bordered the Benue Hills and mountains that lead to Cameroon. 3 major rivers flow from Biafra into the Gulf of Guinea: the Imo River, the Cross River, and the Niger River. The territory of the Republic of Biafra is covered nowadays by the reorganized Nigerian states of Akwa Ibom, Rivers, Cross River, Bayelsa, Ebonyi, Enugu, Anambra, Imo, Abia. While the Igbo people of the current Nigerian state of Delta were not included in Biafra as per Ojukwu's decree founding Biafra, Igbo nationalists amongst the few Igbos in Delta did fight on the Biafran side. At the beginning of the war, Biafra had 3,000 soldiers, but at the end of the war, the soldiers totaled 30,000. There was no official support for the Biafran army by any other nation throughout the war, although arms were clandestinely acquired. Because of the lack of official support, the Biafrans manufactured many of their weapons locally. Europeans served in the Biafran cause. German-born Rolf Steiner was a lieutenant colonel assigned to the 4th Commando Brigade, and Welshman Taffy Williams served as a major until the very end of the conflict. A special guerrilla unit, the Biafran Organization of Freedom Fighters, was established, designed to emulate the insurrectionist guerrilla forces of the Viet Cong in the American-Vietnamese War, targeting Nigerian Federal Army supply lines and forcing them to shift forces to internal security efforts. The international humanitarian organization Médecins Sans Frontières originated in response to the suffering in Biafra. During the crisis, French medical volunteers, in addition to Biafran health workers and hospitals, were subjected to attacks by the Nigerian army and witnessed civilians being murdered and starved by the blockading forces. French doctor Bernard Kouchner also witnessed these events, particularly the huge number of starving children, and, when he returned to France, he publicly criticized the Nigerian government and the Red Cross for their seemingly complicit behavior. With the help of other French doctors, Kouchner put Biafra in the media spotlight and called for an international response to the situation. These doctors, led by Kouchner, concluded that a new aid organization was needed that would ignore political/religious boundaries and prioritize the welfare of victims. General Gowon's famous description of the war as one with no victor and no vanquished was an important rhetorical effort to heal wounds. Nigeria succeeded in averting what would happen to Sudan a couple of decades later, when Sudan split between a Muslim north and a Christian south. The Nigerian federal forces launched their final offensive against the Biafrans on December 23, 1969 with a major thrust by the 3rd Marine Commando Division. The division was commanded by Colonel Obasanjo, who later became president twice, which succeeded in splitting the Biafran enclave into two by the end of the year. The final Nigerian offensive, named Operation Tailwind, was launched on January 7, 1970 with the 3rd Marine Commando Division attacking and supported by the 1st Infantry Division to the north and the 2nd Infantry Division to the south. The Biafran town of Owerri fell on January 9th, and Uli fell on January 11th. The war finally ended with the final surrender of the Biafran forces in the last Biafra-held town of Amici on January 13, 1970. Only a few days earlier, Ojukwu fled into exile by flying by plane to the Republic of Côte d'Ivoire, leaving his deputy Philippe Effiong to handle the details of the surrender to Yakubu Gowon of the Federal Army.